Happy World Wildlife Day, everyone. I'm Tiara, and I'm joining you today from traditional Shawnee territory in the eastern United States, and my pronouns are she, her. I work at a nonprofit organization called the Center for Biological Diversity, and we work on a lot of different fronts. We work through science, law, and something we call creative media to end extinction and save endangered species. And so this work involves everything from following politicians around wearing polar bear suits to painting murals in communities to engage local people with the endangered species that live there. And one of our fundamental beliefs is that all forms of injustice and justice are intertwined. So we think that environmental justice, social justice, racial justice, food justice, climate justice, energy justice, all the battles are inextricably linked. And the right to clean air and water in a safe environment is a fundamental human right. Um, I'm gonna start sharing my screen now.
Yeah, you should be allowed now.
All right, can you see it? Share.
No. Yep, there we go.
All right. So this is last January before COVID. We were following all of the US presidential candidates around in a polar bear costume, asking them to declare the extinction crisis and climate crisis national emergencies. And we actually got in touch with Biden, as you can see there, and he booped Frostpaw, who was our mascot polar bear, on the nose. He didn't promise to end extinction, but he did interact with Frostpaw. So we got it on his radar. This These are some of the groups that we work with around the country. We work on a lot of different fronts, but we've been fighting the border wall that the previous administration was putting up between the United States and Mexico as like a human rights violation, and because it cuts off wildlife corridors, and it's just a terrible idea all around. So we're supporting the local communities there. We're working with the St. James Parish and a group called Rise St. James in the southeastern United States to fight Formosa, which is trying to build a gigantic plastic factory, which is one of the main causes of pollution in this area that is already disproportionately polluted, and also would contribute to climate change because plastic, and I'm sure that the speakers after me have a lot to say about plastic. One of the hopeful things that just happened, we're working with this group in Arizona called Apache Stronghold, and they're fighting to save their sacred site, Oak Flat. And the Biden administration just yesterday pulled a key study that was necessary for them. There's a corporation, Rio Tinto, that wants to turn their sacred site into a toxic mine. And so that was a big celebration. And then I just put up here an example of one of our endangered species murals. This one is in Los Angeles and features the yellow-billed cuckoo, which is a migratory songbird. And we worked with immigrant high school students to paint that. And so we put those up around the country, and would be excited to put them up internationally if you all have ideas about that. But back to nature as a human right, I put this picture up just because I think that everyone has the right to a safe environment, but also nature is so beautiful and peaceful and healing, and everyone has a right to experience that. And the well-being of humans and society is deeply tied to nature and to the survival of all the different plants and animals that we share the planet with. Um, but as you know, we're during World Wildlife Day, we're in the middle of an extinction crisis, and I wanted to highlight freshwater species. We hear a lot about marine species, not so much about freshwater, but there's this vast diversity of amazing freshwater animals that are going extinct at 1,000 times the background extinction rate. I put up some of the ones from the United States: freshwater mussels and salamanders, crayfish, which kind of look like lobsters, but they live in freshwater. And so this environment is really threatened, and we're working to protect all of those animals. And then I just want to introduce you to some of the other animals that I really love, and also to go into the threats they face a little bit. The major drivers of extinction, according to E.O. Wilson, he uses hippo for habitat loss, invasive species pollution, and overexploitation. So up here, the cute mammal that you see is called the Humboldt martin. It lives on the west coast of the United States in old growth forest, and it's threatened by habitat loss from logging. The little snail in the middle of your screen, I love snails. I think they're so cute. Is threatened by sprawl. That snail actually used to be found in downtown Los Angeles and is still found just on the edges. I put up a bat to represent the air and things that fly and air pollution. The United States, we've lost like 90% of our bats because of a disease and because of habitat loss and because of pesticides and insecticides that that threaten their food source, but that also threaten the people that apply those and the communities that are exposed to them. Um, so that's habitat loss. Invasive species is the second driver of extinction. This is the Hawaiian petrel. It's a ground nesting bird that's threatened by introduced predators. And then I don't know, are there lightning bugs across the ocean? Fireflies? It's one of the coolest things about the southeastern United States. They light up at night, and they used to be really common, and now they're disappearing. And they represent to me the wonder of the natural world and what we're at risk of losing. So here's the jaguar from the border wall, the pangolin, which is threatened by exploitation. It's the most exploited mammal in the world. And then pollinators, butterflies and bees that are threatened by pesticides that also threaten humans. So I just want to say extinction is a political choice, and it's not the choice that we have to make. It's not inevitable. We can fight it, and everyone can play a role in that. The Bramblecay malomies that you see here was the first mammal to go extinct because of climate change impacts alone from sea level rise. And back in 2009, the president of the Maldives held a press conference underwater to highlight the threats from climate change that face all of us. And so it can be really overwhelming, all these threats and everything we're at risk of losing, but everyone can make a difference. And we have to not, like, I can get paralyzed by grief, like just thinking about extinction all day, every day, but I have to stay rooted in compassion and not get paralyzed and take action. Any individual action is the antidote to despair and to the extinction crisis. And if we all fight for better policies and fight political corruption and take meaningful individual action, but also fight for better policies at a higher level, we can all play a role in saving life on Earth.